Good morning. You're listening to BCIT's The Crow. I'm Kai Garcia, and these are your news headlines at 10:30. Today in Burnaby, there will be a memorial mass held for the victims of the Lapu-Lapu incident at 6 p.m. It was organized by the Archdiocese of Vancouver and will be held at St. Francis de Sales Church. They will honor the 11 who passed away in the incident last April 26. Today is also the 15th annual Red Dress Day across Canada. Events are planned across BC to honor missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. These events will happen in Vancouver, Victoria, and Pitt Meadows. The red dress was inspired by Metis artist Jamie Black's installation project where red dresses were hung across North America. Our producer Patrick McConnell has more on why it matters.
Estimates suggest that around 4,000 Indigenous women and girls and 600 Indigenous men and boys have gone missing or murdered between 1956 and 2016. Today, our Crow reporters will be in the field at Red Dress events. They're also going to be out there covering how a comedy club is helping Vancouverites deal with the Lapu-Lapu Day tragedy. And we're also going to be covering how local industry professionals are dealing with Trump's 100% tariffs on film. Back to you, Kai.
Thanks, Patrick, for the information. Now in politics, the NDP National Council will be holding a meeting tonight to pick an interim leader after previous leader Jagmeet Singh announced that he will step down on the night of the federal election. David Augustine has more on what the meeting will entail and the status of the party.
The meeting comes after Jagmeet Singh announced on election night that he would step down as soon as an interim leader was chosen. The NDP was reduced to just 7 seats in the election on April 28th and no longer holds official party status. Two party officials say the NDP caucus met twice last week to discuss who will lead the party until a leadership race can be completed. Now, Singh is among more than a dozen NDP MPs who were defeated in one of the worst election showings the party has had. Former MP Charlie Angus says the party lost touch with core supporters and focused too much on the personality of the leader. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
Staying in politics, but now from the USA, an update from the White House, where they say there are no decisions made on the U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to impose 100% tariffs on foreign films, but they are exploring all options. This comes after U.S. President says that he will impose these tariffs because the U.S. film industry is dying. The implementation is unclear, but the president is firm on his stance, and here's what he says.
If they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, then we should have a tariff on movies that come in. And not only that, governments are actually giving big money. I mean, they're supporting them financially. So that's sort of a threat to our country in a sense.
In religion, the papal conclave is set to elect a new pope on Wednesday following the death of Pope Francis. Around 135 cardinal electors will be taking an oath of secrecy in the Sistine Chapel to ensure the confidentiality of the election. Failure to keep it will result in the excommunication from the church. Karen Chamas has the latest news from the Vatican.
Ahead of the conclave, the Vatican staff is to be sworn to secrecy under the threat of excommunication. All Vatican personnel involved in supporting the upcoming papal conclave will take an oath of secrecy under penalty of automatic excommunication. The ceremony, mandated by Vatican law and revised by Pope Benedict XVI, includes clerics and lay staff alike, cooks, cleaners, doctors, nurses and security officials. Nearly 135 cardinal electors will gather in the Sistine Chapel beginning on Wednesday to vote in secret for Pope Francis's successor. The oath, which explicitly forbids recording or disclosing anything from within the conclave, underscores the Church's insistence on confidentiality. Cardinals are bound by their own rules of secrecy. They will take their oaths on Wednesday as well. I'm Karen Chamas.
In fashion, the Met Gala will be happening tonight at the Metropolitan Museum of Arts in New York. It's fashion's biggest event, and this year's theme will be super fine, or the celebration of Black dandyism, designers, tailoring, and style. It's the first time in 20 years that it will focus on menswear, and many celebrities will be there. Make sure to wear your sunscreen because according to Environment Canada, today's weather will be clear and sunny skies with highs of 16 and lows of 11. And those were your headlines at 10:30. I'm Kai Garcia for BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning. I'm James Ngo, and these are your sports headlines to 1040. The trial of the 5 Hockey Canada members accused of sexual assault continued Monday morning. The woman, who goes by EM, told the jury that back in June 2018, she had a consensual sexual encounter with Michael McLeod at his hotel room in London, Ontario. Afterwards, McLeod allegedly invited some of his teammates into the room while EM was in the bathroom. She says that the men had her lay down on a bedsheet as they discussed what kind of sexual acts they wanted to perform. McLeod, as well as teammates Dylan Dubé, Callum Foote, Alex Formenton, and Carter Hart, previously pleaded not guilty to sexual assault at the start of the trial. All 5 were members of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team and were in town to celebrate their gold medal win. The court has been told that the initial sexual encounter with McLeod is not part of the trial. The Winnipeg Jets defeated the St. Louis Blues in Game 7 to advance to the second round of the NHL playoffs. Despite being down 3-1 with just 2 minutes left, the Jets rallied to score 2 goals and send the game to overtime, including a game-tying goal with just 2 seconds remaining. Jets captain Adam Lowry said that the 2 goals brought energy back into the building.
To score 2 with the goalie out and, just have life and, Fets to really bring the building to its feet, with 1.5 seconds left, it was incredible.
The game ended in double overtime when Lowry himself tipped the puck past goaltender Jordan Binnington for the game-winning goal. The Jets will host the Dallas Stars for Game 1 on Wednesday. The Toronto Maple Leafs will host the defending champion Florida Panthers tonight to start the second round of the NHL playoffs. The Leafs lost to the Panthers in 5 games. That Panthers team went on to play in the Stanley Cup Finals. Head coach Craig Berube says that the Leafs are ready for the physical style Florida plays with.
We got to go out and be physical ourselves. We got to initiate as much as possible. And you're going to get banged around, and they're going to come, and they're going to hit, and they're going to do all, that's just part of it.
Game 1 will start at 5 p.m. In basketball, the first round of the NBA playoffs concluded last night, with the Golden State Warriors defeating the Houston Rockets in Game 7 to advance to the second round. The Warriors won 103-89, winning the series in one of the biggest upsets so far this postseason. Buddy Hield led the team in scoring with 33 points, while Stephen Curry posted a double-double with 22 points and 10 rebounds. The Warriors will play the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round. Round 2 of the NBA playoffs began yesterday as well, with the Indiana Pacers defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-112. Despite a 33-point game by Cavs guard Donovan Mitchell, the Pacers put in a full team effort to upset the Cavaliers in their own building. The Cavs hit a lowly 23.7% of their shots from beyond the three-point line, which likely contributed to the team's loss. Game 2 will take place tomorrow at 4 p.m. 2 more NBA games are scheduled for later today. At 4 p.m., the New York Knicks will travel to Boston to play the defending champion Celtics. The Celtics won all 4 of their regular season games against the Knicks and hope to continue that trend into the series. Then, at 6:30 p.m., the league-best Oklahoma City Thunder host the Denver Nuggets. The Thunder are well-rested after sweeping the Memphis Grizzlies in Round 1, while the Nuggets had to win Game 7 against the Los Angeles Clippers to make it. Both teams feature Canadian stars in Nuggets guard Jamal Murray and Thunder guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Some baseball action this evening as well, as the Seattle Mariners host the Athletics. The Mariners lead the AL West Division with a 20-13 record, but the A's are only 2 games back after a surprisingly hot start. Bryce Miller takes the mound for the Mariners, while Luis Severino gets the nod for the Athletics. The game is scheduled for tonight at 7 p.m. In Formula One, Oscar Piastri won his 4th race of the year in the Miami Grand Prix. The 24-year-old now leads all drivers with 131 points, with fellow teammate Lando Norris close behind at 115. McLaren now leads the Constructors' Championship handily with 246 points. The next race is scheduled at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for May 16th to 18th. That's all for now. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm James Ngo, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.